For fans of celebrity drama, the Johnny Depp defamation trial might just be the case of the century. Shocking details about Depp and his ex-wife Amber Heard have come to light. But what's Heard's backstory? Keep watching for some tragic details about Amber Heard. During Johnny Depp's 2022 defamation suit against Amber Heard, it was revealed that both he and his ex-wife had abusive upbringings, which reportedly exacerbated what their couple's therapist called mutual abuse in their marriage. In Heard's case, her father allegedly beat her regularly. Heard later told Wonderland magazine that she had survived multiple traumas throughout her life, the majority of which had not been covered by the press. Psychotherapist Nancy Carbone speculated on Depp and Heard's relationship for Your Tango, suggesting that her alleged experience with her violent father led Heard to seek validation from an older man, resulting in her own potentially abusive transgressions. Heard's relationship with her father was also mentioned in Depp's 2020 libel trial against the Sun tabloid. Comparing Depp to her dad, she revealed that the Heard patriarch struggled with drug and alcohol addiction and allegedly took out his anger on both his wife and daughter. Heard said of her parents' relationship, "They loved each other, but he was very violent to her until the end." In 2014, many celebrities, the majority of whom were women, were faced with the trauma of having their private nude photos leaked. Amber Heard was among the victims of the cyber attack. She spoke about the ordeal at a 2019 news conference, lamenting that she continued to be harassed over the pictures years later. She said, "My stolen and manipulated photos are still online to this day, posted again and again with sexually explicit and humiliating and degrading headlines about my body, about myself. I continue to be harassed, stalked, and humiliated by the theft of those images." Heard said that over 50 of her selfies had been disseminated, some of which had been doctored, and she was subsequently subjected to misogynistic remarks from the general public. She condemned the media for supposedly diminishing the harm caused by having one's most private moments exposed for the entire world to gawk at. Heard wrote, "Imagine someone stripping you naked in the middle of a busy street, suddenly exposing you to the leering eyes of strangers. Now imagine that this moment never ends but repeats itself endlessly, and that as it does, all you can hear is the crowd shouting, 'You deserved it.'" In 2018, Amber Heard wrote an article for The Washington Post in which she detailed her experiences of sexual abuse. She revealed that she was first sexually assaulted as a young adult and continued to be abused in her romantic relationships, though she did not explicitly name Johnny Depp as the assailant.
"I could just hear him say that he was going to kill me."
However, Heard confirmed Depp was her alleged attacker when she testified in court in 2022. She claimed that Depp stripped her naked and performed a cavity search looking for cocaine. In a painful confession, she admitted, "This has been one of the most painful and difficult things I've ever gone through." According to Heard's legal team, this allegedly wasn't the sole time that Depp sexually assaulted her. Psychologist Dawn Hughes testified that the actor allegedly violated Heard with a liquor bottle. As a result, Hughes claimed Heard suffers from PTSD, further testifying that Depp allegedly admitted to the abuse via various incriminating text messages to friends. Hughes also suggested that Depp's supposed actions stemmed from jealousy. He allegedly accused Heard of having affairs with both men and women and would punish her with sexual violence. Amber Heard has made no secret of the fact that she's an atheist. Born into a devout Catholic family, she initially shared her parents' beliefs. That all changed, however, when she suffered a tragic loss. At the age of 16, her best friend was killed in a car accident. The incident rocked her world and changed her entire belief system. She would go on to tell USA Today, "That was the hardest blow emotionally that I have ever had to endure. Suddenly, you realize tomorrow might not come. Now I live by the motto, today is what I have." Unable to make sense of what happened to her friend, Heard rejected religion. She became a critical thinker thereafter, refusing to graduate from her Catholic high school to protest what she deemed a repressive institution. Heard even likened her religious childhood to an oppressive regime, believing that her every move was under observation and scrutiny. There's no denying the dissonance between the lives celebs present to us on social media and what really goes on behind the scenes. Celeb wedding pics invariably show elated couples bathed in a glow of conjugal bliss. Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's nuptials were no exception. Photos published by People show the former couple smiling, looking deeply in love as the Caribbean sun shone on Depp's private island. But according to Heard, the day was far from blissful. In 2020, she revealed that she had to fake happiness throughout the day when she was in fact devastated and alone. This, Heard claimed, was largely due to Depp's alleged substance abuse, as he supposedly prioritized drugs over her on their special day. She alleged in court he had lost weight and he would disappear into the bathroom for long periods during the wedding. He was even more possessive than usual, and he was just not making sense a lot of the time. I tried to smile through it and entertain our guests, but I had never felt more lonely in my life. It seems that the big day was just as unpleasant for Depp, whose own daughter, Lily Rose, didn't attend the ceremony. Depp testified in 2022 that there was discord between his daughter and the bride-to-be. However, Heard claimed that she protected Lily Rose from her father's temper when he allegedly made death threats against Heard in an incident that preceded the wedding. Both the 2020 and 2022 trials have seen Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's deepest, darkest secrets divulged for the consumption of the general public. Both sides allege substance abuse from the other. According to Depp, Heard would supposedly drink 2 bottles of wine every night. He alleged that the pair had a toxic relationship whereby she enabled his drug addiction, claiming that Heard would chop lines of cocaine for him to snort, while she would rub the powder on her gums. Depp also claimed that Heard spent a large portion of their wedding day taking drugs, saying that she partied with pals at the wedding reception, getting high from a communal bag of MDMA. Heard admitted to taking mushrooms and MDMA on 2 separate occasions, once during a party in a desert and another time when they were flying to Russia. However, she would later describe the incident to a jury as the
first and last time I ever decided it would be a decent idea to do drugs with Johnny.
This is because it allegedly led to Depp threatening to assault a flight attendant who also took drugs. Speaking with USA Today, addiction specialist Lynn Sternlicht suggested that the pair's alleged drug use contributed to their toxic and volatile relationship. She said, "Alcohol and certain drugs may amplify what's already going on inside, so if you're frustrated or unhappy with your partner, you may feel more impulsive to act out on these negative feelings." Amber Heard has endured anti-LGBTQ discrimination throughout her life. The actor told Wonderland magazine that she was subjected to homophobia at school, as she wasn't allowed to have a same-sex partner at prom. The discrimination continued into her adult life. In 2010, Heard publicly came out of the closet, proudly announcing that she loved women as much as men. At the time, she was smitten with her lady love, Tasia Von Ray, but coming out to her parents was an ordeal. She recalled at South by Southwest, "Naturally, being an outspoken militant feminist, lesbian, atheist, vegetarian, I remember when I told them about my relationship that I was in love with this woman. I remember at the beginning of that, it was just tears. It was tears." Speaking with Allure, Heard explained that in addition to facing her family's prejudice, she was confronted with the bigotry of Hollywood. As an out actor who openly loved women, Heard was told that she would never work again. She said, "Everyone said, 'You're throwing it all away. You can't do this to your career.' And I said, 'I cannot do this any other way. Watch me.' They pointed to no other working romantic lead, no other actress that was out." However, Heard was defiant, refusing to hide her sexual orientation and vowing to enjoy a glittering career as an out and proud actor. Amber Heard's relationship with her mom, Paige, wasn't always perfect. At a premiere in 2015, The Mirror reported that Heard could be seen snapping at her mom for talking to photographers on the red carpet. And in text messages obtained by The Blast, Paige appeared to side more with Johnny Depp when her daughter filed a restraining order against him, reassuring her former son-in-law that she loved him. But despite these apparent differences, Heard was always close with her mom. Heard has said that her relationship with Paige was her only solace throughout her volatile marriage to Depp. While she admitted that she didn't feel comfortable confiding in any of her friends about the alleged abuse, the star said her mom was the one person she could rely on for compassion and sympathy without judgment. She said, "I felt safe talking to my mom because I knew she understood these dynamics and she wouldn't judge me for staying with him, for loving him, even though this was happening." Tragically, Paige died in 2020. Sharing a black and white snap on Instagram, Heard opened up about the loss and reflected on the pair's relationship. She wrote, in part, "I am heartbroken and devastated beyond belief at the loss of my mom, Paige Heard. She left us too early, clasping onto the memory of her beautiful, gentle soul." In 2016, Amber Heard first made allegations that Johnny Depp had abused her. People published photos of Heard's bruised and bloody face, injuries she claimed were inflicted by her soon-to-be ex-husband. Heard then penned an essay for Net-a-Porter in which she discussed her experiences of domestic abuse. Though she never mentioned Depp by name, the essay appeared to heavily imply he was the alleged abuser in question. Some of Depp's fans were incredulous when Heard made the accusations. In a 2018 interview with Glamour, she alluded to the power Depp seemingly holds in Hollywood and among his fans. Heard suggested that regardless of the violent acts he allegedly committed, Depp would be supported no matter what. She said, "When a woman comes forward, she will be met with skepticism, hostility, and shame. All a man has to do is point to an incentive. He will, or society will." When it was Heard's time to testify at the 2022 defamation trial, she divulged the extent of the alleged domestic abuse. Heard claimed that Depp would frequently beat her and threatened to kill her on several occasions. Text messages that Depp sent Heard appeared to corroborate some of the claims. One menacing message read, "I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury." Meanwhile, Depp has vehemently denied Heard's accusations, insisting that he never laid a finger on his ex-wife and that it was in fact Heard who abused him. Amber Heard and her sister Whitney Enriquez have long had a rocky relationship. Enriquez apparently begged her sis not to marry Johnny Depp. In 2020, she testified that she felt sick when she found out Heard was engaged to the Pirates of the Caribbean star. Enriquez said, "I told her it was a bad idea, begged her not to go through with it, and said that she should end it." When she tied the knot with Depp despite her sister's protestations, Heard accused Enriquez of trying to sell the couple's wedding snaps and tipping off tabloids about their relationship. Enriquez denied this, but Heard, having felt completely betrayed by her sister, subsequently kicked her out of the apartment in which she was staying rent-free. Thereafter, the sisters became estranged. The siblings' relationship also reportedly came to blows at one point. In 2020, BBC News published a resurfaced video that appears to show the aftermath of an alleged physical altercation between Heard and her sister. The clip, which is from an unaired reality TV segment circa the mid-2000s, shows an inquisitive pal asking Enriquez if she got into a fight. Enriquez said that she didn't want to talk about it, to which her friend replied,
"I can't believe Amber beat your ass."
In court, Enriquez testified that they'd gotten into a verbal argument the night before. If you or someone you know is dealing with domestic abuse, you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. You can also find more information, resources, and support at their website.